guys, what's going on? It's Meshi with Path to Wellness with Meshi. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad that you are here. So in today's video, we are going to be setting up our bullet journals for the month of July. And for this month, we are going to be focusing on pastels. And more importantly, I really wanted to, if you haven't seen my monthly favorites just yet, where I talk to you a little bit about my recent purchase with the Prima Marketing Pastels watercolor set. I'll just show you. So I recently picked up the Prima watercolor, the Prima Marketing Pastels collection. Here's a little swatch card, just to kind of give you an idea. And I will be doing a full review of this little palette, but for now I just thought that we would just put it to good use and set up our bullet journals. I'm also going to be using the Metallic Accents palette as well. That's also a pastel palette, but this looks really, really beautiful. Now that I'm like dropping pens, it looks really beautiful in on like black paper. So I'm going to be incorporating that into our spread this month, one way, shape, or form. And I thought that we would just go and play and see sort of what unfolds and see how it all works out. So if you wanted to see this month's setup, then just stay tuned and let's get right into it. Okay, so let's get started. I am using a Canson black drawing paper. Basically it's a little bit thicker consistency. It's a premium quality paper for color pencil, gel pens, and metallic markers, and I'm going in just outlining my design here with a white pen. I had to switch pens because the first one I was using is terrible, so I'm using the Jelly Roll pens from Sakura, and that seems to be doing a really great job. So I'm actually just outlining the lettering first, coloring it in, and then after that we're going to be going over it with some colors, pastels, and with metallic colors as well. So once the lettering is almost finished here, then we can start moving on to the triangle as well as outlining our flamingo.
Se van a desvanecer. Algún día volverás tú al lado mío.
So the first thing I did is I'm outlining the triangle, and then I got started working on the rose in the middle of the design, and then I'm going to be adding a bit more detail to the flamingo.
Sin pena, ven, sin estrés, muéstrame sus pasos, te cuento hasta 10 y ven. Yo sé que tú quieres conmigo, amor, de todos esos placeres que brinda la vida y que nos hace tan feliz. Sé que tú quieres conmigo, amor, de todos esos placeres, como acariciarte y conocer.
And now it's time to coloring. So I first went into the pastel colors with the Pastel Dreams. I'm using the color Lemonade, which is 41. I was hoping that it would actually run on this paper, like the watercolor could actually run together, like the colors could blend together the same way that it usually does on watercolor paper, but I was finding that it was just not blending as well as I wanted to. Like the colors are popping, but it was just not showing up the same way. So I'm switching brushes here. I was using a relatively thin brush, but I'm now just using I'm using a thinner edged brush, and then here it seems to be doing a little bit of a better job of just blending everything together. I made the epic mistake of going into the beak with brown, so I end up correcting that. And I go over it with white.
bailando sin pena, ven, sin estrés. Muéstrame sus pasos, te cuento hasta 10 y ven. Yo sé que tú quieres.
And now we are using the
Sé que tú quieres conmigo.
metallic pastel colors. These seem to be popping. If you are waiting a little, if you wait a little bit of time, I found that once the water evaporates and I actually wet the colors well enough, then the colors will actually show up and they are vibrant and beautiful. But if I'm using way too much water, then it just kind of disappears on the paper, as you can tell. So I go back and forth quite a few times just so that the colors can start showing up to their true color. And I had the same problem with the watercolor as well, with the Pastel Dreams. It was the same idea. I could not for the life of me get them to show up as their true colors. It could just be simply because I was using black paper. Both palettes had such strong color payoff on white that, you know, here you're just gonna have to work with the watercolor slightly differently. Make sure that you dry off the water off so that the colors can actually start popping. I cut out that piece once I was finished, so this is the finished look on the cover page. Now moving on to the Monthetic lens, I kind of switched it up a little bit. I tried to use the watercolor as a highlighting piece, and some of it worked out. If I didn't use too much water, then it wasn't crimpling up my paper or anything. And I'm doing something completely different this month. I'm using a stencil so I can kind of draw in a Monstera leaf, and I'm also going to be using the stencil to draw in a pine tree. So I really wanted this tropical feel where it gives it like that unique tropical vibe. Moving on to the weekly spread, I wanted to keep the black paper theme going on, so I just cut out 2 large pieces and I glued them down, and I will be using that as my weekly setup. And then on the side, I don't think I really looked at like the actual spacing of it, so it kind of threw things off a little bit, but that's okay. Here is, now I just brought you over to the actual finished spread, because honestly I changed it at least 3 to 4 times, and now I'm just writing out the quote that I'm using, which this month I'm focusing on a quote from Oprah. It's one of the most beautiful ones. If you follow me on Instagram, you can also see it there as well. And I'm using a couple of stickers here on the side, one for meal plan tracking and the other one is for activity tracking and just quickly reminders. And I also added a quick gold and a teal and pink colored accented washi tapes, just so that we have a pop of color, which I thought that they kind of complemented each other really well. Now on the black paper, I am using the Jelly Roll pens because I found that those work the best. And Jelly Roll also had a pen in white, so I can just kind of draw in some of the basic designs. Here is the complete flip through of everything. So here's our weekly setup. So as you can tell, like I have one tracker for running, one for meal plans, and I added a gratitude tracker, just something super simple with some colors and some washi tapes. And then I kept the monthly reflections because I found that between the what worked well, what didn't work so well, and the biggest lessons, that's a really nice reflection piece. And again, kept the design extremely simple. And here we are. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this. There we go. Okay, thank you so much for taking the time to connect with me and to join me in this month's Plan With Me video. I hope that you have enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you are brand new here. Let me know, here's your question of the day. Let me know in the comments below if you have tried the Pastels Dream from Prima Marketing, or if you have the Metallic Pastels Accent palette. I would love to know what your thoughts were. I will be doing a full review of both of these guys, so keep an eye out for that on the channel. But for now, I just really wanted to just put them to the test, set up our journals, and get rocking with July, even though I'm like super late. But that's okay, because you know what? That's all right. We will somehow survive without having our monthly setup. You know, and we're setting it up in July, for July. You know what I mean? Sometimes that's okay. No problems with that. Hope that you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you guys again in my next one, and just keep journaling, you guys. And I'll see you soon. Bye.